Freak Nation, Christopher Bell will be joining us here in the Freak Nation. ARCA Series winner Friday night, Saturday morning from Daytona. Gus Dean will be here in the Freak Nation. We'll hear from Kyle Busch. Had a chance to catch up with him to talk about his son Brexton, who continues to win in Bandoleros and a number of other little series.
Didn't he beat his dad in micro sprints just a couple weekends
Maybe
ago,
that's what the hell it was. I'm just, again.
No. I'm just saying he beat his dad.
Punch drunk Pablo right here, given the fact I haven't slept very well the last 6 days. But other than that, big show for you, Freak Nation. Thanks for hanging out. Lucas Oil, General Tire, GeneralTire.com. Find your tires for your righteous ride at GeneralTire.com. Real quick, before we get into what we think might be the biggest stories going into the Daytona 500 and the 2024 Cup season, here's some names from the 2007 NASCAR Truck Series that every one of these names will ring a bell, and gentlemen that we've had on the show over our 24 years of doing Speed Freaks. Dennis Setzer, Jack Sprague, Kenny Schrader, Mike Skinner, Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, Travis Kvapil, Ted Musgrave, Brendan Gaughan, Terry Cook, Chad McCumbee, TJ Bell.
Wow.
Let that resonate with those younger drivers in the Truck Series right now. Richie, you don't even know who those guys are.
Actually, I do. I know some of them. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember watching some of those guys when I was a little bit younger and just getting into NASCAR and, Jack Sprague and the like, Matt Crafton still in the sport as even now he's been around forever. I wonder if that's the biggest difference. Like those guys stayed in the Truck Series and would occasionally run other races. Whereas now, I think somebody in the comments pointed this out too. It's just another AA for the Cup Series. It's just a feeder, so you don't have guys sticking around for very long. So your average age is super, super low in ARCA and in the Truck Series now too, which means you don't have as much experience in the sport as you used to.
So again, playing off of what we were talking about last segment, just a horrible Truck Series race from Daytona, where Crasher stated 51 laps of 100 laps.
101 ended up being run because of the green-white checkered at the end. But it's still 51 of them, a smidge over half under yellow.
That's just, it's got to stop. It's got to freaking stop. Christopher Bell coming up in about 10 minutes here in the Freak Nation. But real quick, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because, again, it's kind of us pontificating going into the 2024 season. Now with the 500 on Monday, we have a chance to really throw some commentary in on what we see are the biggest stories or a big story going into the 500 or, frankly, for 2024 in the Cup Series. Curious, Suave, what's the biggest story for you going into the 2024 Cup Series or, frankly, the Daytona 500?
Yeah, I have an on-track one and I have an off-track one. The off-track one, I think we're going to get to a little bit in the show, but it has a lot of wide-ranging things that may happen with the sport going forward. So it's a big, big story. The thing I'm most looking forward to this year, it's the Kyle Larson double. Like May cannot get here fast enough for that. I don't know what that says about NASCAR because it's more of an IndyCar story than anything because – obviously, Kyle Larson is one of the favorites to win the Cup Series championship this year, as he seemingly always is. But, man, I cannot wait for the Indy 500 this year because of Kyle Larson. So that's my on track is can Kyle Larson become the best driver ever to have the best finish in both races on the same day? So I'm excited about that.
And if you follow us on Twitter and Instagram, you saw my question to Kyle Larson about that specifically. He didn't get aggravated with me, but it was as if, bro, that's down the road. It's not right now. I'm thinking about the Daytona 500. I can compartmentalize these things and not worry about the 500. But then you got guys like Richie that just fast forward to the Indy 500.
I think it's interesting, though, Richie, how you say that's more of an IndyCar thing. I really maybe IndyCar fans would think that way and NASCAR fans think otherwise. But I really look at it as a motorsports feat that several have tried and just it's almost an impossibility to win both. And then weather plays a factor that let's say you do end up winning the Indy 500 and you head to Charlotte, but what if weather delays you and then somebody else has to sit in to start your Coke 600? It blows the mind. I feel like it's just a huge motorsports in general feat that, like we've talked about, nobody's.
It is, but that's not. I don't know if that's good for NASCAR or not. That's the thing. Is like in terms of like storylines, that's just not. It's not a storyline and only happens in NASCAR, and that's not good for the sport, right? It's good for motorsports in general, but it's not good for the NASCAR Cup Series. You see what I'm kind of getting at?
Okay, yeah. If yes,
it's not like, oh, I'm excited to see Bubba Wallace. I'm excited to see the NASCAR Cup Series champion in the other dang sport. That's
got it.
Statman, you got a little bit on your 2024, what you're looking forward to, or what's the big story for you for the Cup Series?
The big story for me is, frankly, is going to be a new champion. There's going to be someone who, like Ryan Blaney last year, there's going to be someone who's going to emerge from the pool, and when they try to drain the swamp in NASCAR, they're going to come up with a new champion. Joey Logano's not going to win it. I don't think Denny Hamlin's going to win it. I think guys like Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, maybe even Michael McDowell is going to have a part to play. He rode. His team has a relationship this year with Penske. He's getting righteous equipment now, and I think there's going to be a new driver emerging from the field to take over the championship.
Statman. Speaking of, Michael McDowell should be joining us here in the second hour. Speed Freaks on MAV TV and the Freak Radio Network. Statman saying there's going to be a new champion. Crasher, what about you?
Mine got blown out of the water when the story broke about an hour and a half before we went live Sunday evening that NASCAR teams have hired a lawyer, Mr. Kessler, who was I need to pull up the story, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to need a little bit more time here to search for this.
Let me read the lead from AP here, Crash. I got you while I look it up. Thank you. NASCAR teams have hired one of the country's top antitrust and sports lawyers to advise them in their ongoing dispute with the family-owned stock car series over a new revenue-sharing model. The decision to hire Jeffrey Kessler, partner and co-executive chair of Winston & Strawn, LLP, followed a Saturday meeting at Daytona that included the majority owner from each of the 15 charter teams in NASCAR. Although the teams invited NASCAR representatives to attend, none did.
There's a lot behind that headline. I talked to an attorney this evening and really got some background where there's a lot of heat that's going to come from that discussion, and that's not going to be a pretty reality, I don't think.
Here's the deal. Mr. Kessler is the same lawyer who helped college athletes, men and women, in the NCAA get paid for their likenesses.
NIL.
Yes, the NIL agreement. He is also the same attorney. I mean, he's done a ton in sports litigation. And so this is big. This is really big. I was under the impression that 23XI and Denny Hamlin were the ones that were the most upset about the charter system, future franchises, how this is going to work out. The TV deal gets finally announced in December, a lot more money coming in, but it's not filtering down to the teams. I didn't realize that it's all the teams that are really finally standing up and saying, NASCAR, you're getting paid a ton. We don't see any residuals coming our way. We are all in this together. We all need to share in some of the profits. We're not asking you to go back over your past 75 years and dig up money that we might have been owed then. But moving forward, can we structure a new payment plan, so to speak, so that we all can benefit? The Crocs deal that was announced, talking about the shoes, NASCAR Crocs that came out just a month or so ago. Teams don't have the little Croc, what do you call those, Croc charms? No team or driver has a Croc charm that can go on the NASCAR Crocs. So if you want to put Croc charms,
are we talking Croc charms?
We are talking
on
Croc
this show.
charms. Yes,
after
we are.
24 years, we're talking about Crocs and Croc charms.
Because the only licensed Croc charms are those that are licensed to NASCAR exclusively, not to the drivers and teams. Shouldn't this be something that everybody can profit in together?
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now.
Let's go! Yeah!
For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. It all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
The answer is yes. So stuff like this moving forward, I don't know why NASCAR didn't have any representation in this meeting this weekend. This is going to be big.
And they had to know that it was coming.
They were asked to be a part of this meeting, and they didn't
live in
show.
silos. There are a lot of squeaky wheels, something like that. There's a lot.
That's a good call, Crash. That's a really good call. That's going to be huge this year. And just imagine what, I don't know if you follow F1, the Concord Agreement, that's determines where the money goes to everybody. And yeah, I could talk about this for a while, but yeah, that's a huge call, Crash.
I think we should bring it up again in the second hour because this is a big story.
Might there be a strike? Question mark.
Hey,
I don't know about a strike. There's too much money involved by the teams to.
We got to go, guys.
Second hour, baby.
We got to go.
Keep it going.
Coming up next, Christopher Bell. It's incredible how these manufacturer wars are heating up. And Christopher Bell, who just might run himself into a Daytona 500 win or a championship, he joins us next. SpeedFreaks Pits and Lucas Oil Studio.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers. For more than 30 years, Lucas Oil Products has been solving some of the most difficult mechanical problems in the automotive, marine, and industrial industries. From our original Core 4 products, heavy-duty oil stabilizer, power steering, stop leak, transmission fix, and fuel treatment, we have now developed over 400 custom products to help solve some of the world's toughest mechanical issues. Go to lucasoil.com to see what we have in store for you. Lucas Oil, it works.